You know, when you plug an address into your GPS and it confidently says, like, arrival time 2 p.m., you get this sense of total certainty.
Right, yeah. You lock in the route and you're good to go.
Exactly. You map the route and just hit the gas. Supply chain logistics used to feel exactly like that. But looking at our source for today's deep dive, the August 24th, 2026 Logistics Strategies newsletter, well, it feels like that GPS is just flashing a skull and crossbones right now.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So today's mission is to uncover those, under the radar logistics shifts that are quietly breaking traditional supply chain cost models. We want to help you spot these hidden expenses before they ever hit your invoice.
Okay, let's unpack this. We should start with the loudest news right now, which is the border. A 50% U.S. tariff on about $20 billion in Canadian goods just took effect this past Saturday.
Right, things like wine, furniture, cement.
Yeah, exactly. And matching Canadian retaliation on U.S. goods hits September 8th. So, I mean, building a customer quote right now is like trying to hit a moving target on a roller coaster.
Oh, absolutely. Yesterday's duty schedule is completely wrong today. And the implication here is pretty severe because your landed costs have shifted twice in just a 2-week window.
Wow, twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah. The U.S. and Canada are actively changing the landscape, so you absolutely must confirm your rates right now before committing to a final number with a customer. Otherwise, you're the one eating that lost margin.
Right. And if companies are scrambling to reroute their supply chains to avoid those new Canadian tariffs, their trucks are inevitably driving longer routes, which, brings us to a massive secondary problem.
Oh, the fuel shock.
Yes, the literal trucks moving these goods just got vastly more expensive to operate. Diesel spiked 19.7 cents in a single week to $5.45 a gallon.
That is a huge jump.
I know, it's the highest since May and like a staggering 47% above where it was last year.
What's fascinating here is why this isn't just a temporary fluke, Like, it's not a brief weather anomaly. Diesel prices are structurally outpacing crude oil right now.
Wait, really? Why has that happened?
Well, the refining spread, so the gap between the cost of the raw crude and the refined diesel product that is stretched to record widths. So if your company's fuel surcharge is still running off a June or July average, you are billing yesterday's diesel on today's freight.
Ouch.
Yes, you have to move to the current weekly index immediately.
Got it. So the highways are just a pricing mess, which usually pushes logistics managers to lean heavier on sea freight. But there's a wild card there too, right?
Yeah, the Panama Canal.
Right, so the Panama Canal is dealing with severe environmental draft restrictions. Basically, low water levels are dictating how heavy ships can be, and it's sparking these wildly inconsistent carrier fees.
It really is all over the place.
Yeah, like MSC is bumping their surcharge up to $149 per 20-foot container, but then you look at CMA CGM, and they are jumping all the way to $500. I mean, wait, I'm confused here.
Yeah, it sounds completely crazy.
If two ships are moving through the exact same canal, dealing with the exact same water levels, how can one carrier charge $149 and the other $500? That just doesn't make any sense.
Well, it comes down to what we call the unmodeled surcharge. Carriers simply aren't working off a shared universal formula anymore.
Oh, so they're just like making up their own math.
Essentially, yes. One carrier might be using flat canal fees across the board to subsidize broader network losses elsewhere. Meanwhile, another carrier passes the exact specific toll cost onto that individual container.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so it means carrier selection isn't just about transit time anymore. It's about auditing their distinct surcharge math.
Okay, so massive ocean containers are getting slammed with hidden math. But what about the other extreme? Like, from those huge containers down to tiny individual packages, there's barely nowhere to hide either.
Yeah, you're talking about the de minimis exemption.
Right. A federal trade court just upheld the end of the de minimis exemption. For anyone not living and breathing customs law, that's the rule where small, under $800 packages from overseas used to slide through customs completely duty-free, right?
That's the one. And the law legally closes that loophole forever by July 2027.
So, duty paid is the permanent math now. Reversals in court would only have delayed the inevitable anyway.
Oh, wow, so it's really over.
Yeah, the era of assuming free clearance for small shipments is officially dead.
So if any part of your model still assumes that free clearance, you need to rebuild it today. Because the overarching takeaway from all these sources is pretty simple.
Yeah, if you aren't testing your logistics profile against this week's rapid moves, you are bleeding cash.
Exactly. Relying on a final invoice to find a surprise cost is always going to be worse than forecasting it.
Absolutely. Which leaves you with one final thing to consider, right?
Yeah, lay it on us.
If global variables like fuel refining spreads, canal water levels, and tariff spats are fluctuating this aggressively from week to week, is the traditional static financial forecast completely obsolete?